Pearl Harbor is a battle that took place in the Pacific. It occurred at the United States Naval Base in Hawaii. The battle was the United States Pacific Fleet against the Japanese Imperial Navy. The overall purpose was to knock the United States out of the Pacific in one massive blow, so that the Japanese could occupy areas of Southeast Asia. Areas included Hong Kong, Singapore, Burma, Malaya, and the Philippines. Occupying these areas allowed Japanese to gain oil and other resources that they needed that the United States and Britain had withdrawn from them. The United States oil embargo and Britain's withdrawal of trade caused a disaster for Japan's economy. Japanese lost 3/4 of its overseas trade and nearly 90% of its oil imports. There were 6 key figures in the Battle of Pearl Harbor. One key figure was the Japanese Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, who was inspired by the prophetic book, The Great Pacific War. His inspiration led him to believe that the book would become a reality for the Japanese and planned the Pearl Harbor attack. Japanese Captain Minoru Genda helped Yamamoto plan the Pearl Harbor attack. The man who approved of everything was the Japanese Emperor Hirohito. Another Japanese captain was Mitsuyo Fuchida. He sends a code message indicating that the United States was taken by surprise. The code message was Tora Tora Tora. Dory Miller was the United States key figure. He was a steward on the USS West Virginia. He was the first African American awarded the Navy Cross, which is the service's highest award. He took action when the USS West Virginia went under attack and fought nobly. He assisted his captain, who had been mortally wounded, by moving him to safety. He manned and operated a machine gun against the Japanese attacking aircraft until ordered to leave the bridge. He became an iconic emblem for the African Americans. Another significant United States figure was Navy Admiral Richmond K. Turner. He strongly urged that the United States forces undergo a higher state of alert and security, especially the United States Navy base Pearl Harbor. He knew that Pearl Harbor was very vulnerable to surprise attacks, but only a few of his recommendations were implemented. Due to the failure of heeding to Admiral Turner's advice, the United States had many casualties. 2,403 people died, 1,178 were wounded. There were 12 sunken ships, 9 damaged ships, 169 aircraft destroyed, and 159 damaged aircraft. The main significant loss for us was the USS Arizona. The ship held half the total deaths when it sunk in Pearl Harbor. Japan suffered a smaller amount of casualties. 129 Japanese people died, and the United States held only 1 prisoner. There were 5 sunken ships, 29 aircraft destroyed, and 74 aircraft damaged. There was only 1 ship that survived. The ship that survived was called Ushio. It was one of the 24 Fubuki-class destroyers, the most powerful destroyers in the world at the time. Ushio was surrendered to the United States at Yokosuka Naval Base. The battle was provoked by the oil embargo the United States instated when the Japanese troops occupied Indochina. Yamato prepares a plan after reading the Great Pacific War, and Hirohito gives his approval for the attack in October. In November, Hirohito approves the formal battle plan, and the Japanese attack fleet begins to sail over to the United States. On December 6th, the United States intercepts a Japanese message about ship movements and positions at the Pearl Harbor. The cryptologist sends the message to her superior and will not receive a response until the 8th. Early morning on the 7th, a radar operator sees a large group of airplanes coming. The operator informs his supervisor, who dismisses it as the scheduled arrival of the United States B-17 bombers. Then the Japanese bombers will initiate their attack and bomb the United States Naval Base. The United States is shocked by the attack and declares war on Japan on the 8th, allied with Britain. The battle was over in a span of about 2 hours, from about 8 a.m. to about 10 a.m. on 7th of December. Since the attack on Pearl Harbor was a surprise attack, the Japanese won. The attack on Pearl Harbor made Americans united in their determination to go to war. This was the first time in years. The Pearl Harbor attack led to Roosevelt's first declaration of war,
a date which will live in infamy.
But 3 days later, Germany and Italy will declare war against the United States. This attack is considered the start of the conflict that leads to World War II.